Hey everybody, hope you're doing good today. Neil the Knife Guy here. I was tagged by Stutterin Bob to do my 5 top acquisitions of 2016. If you haven't seen Stutterin Bob's channel, I highly recommend going over and checking him out. Great guy, he does great videos and has a lot of wicked blades. So you'd be doing yourself a favor to go check him out and subscribe. So just getting into this, these are my 5 top acquisitions of 2016. Knives that I'm really proud to own. Knives that I really love to carry, and knives that are just overall great blades. The first one is going to have to be my Spyderco Lawton. Good buddy in the States sent this to me for my birthday this year and was super surprised and super grateful to actually get this. One of the knives that I really wanted for a long time but never pulled the trigger on. This here in Canada, it's about 300 bucks, and just could never really pull the trigger on it. He knew I wanted this a lot and took it out of his own collection and gave it to me. Just a great blade. I mean, look at the looks overall. Super beefy knife in handle and in blade. Has a hollow grind to it, so it's actually a really good slicer, and takes a really wicked edge with that S30V. Just a sleek looking knife, super thick liner lock, just a tank of a blade, but also a really nice looking blade too. You can see the action on it. I have this tightened down and it still sort of shakes down free. Just a smooth knife. You can't get blade play into this thing. It is just a tank. That has the thumb studs as blade stops, but you can use them as thumb studs to flick them out. Just an amazing knife overall. So that's number one. These aren't going to be in order of how I like them or anything. These are just going to be in order of as I received them or bought them. Next up is a knife that I traded my ZT 0350 CF for, and that would be the Spyderco Domino. This is one of my only frame lock flipping knives, one of my only ball bearing knives, because typically I don't really like them. There's a lot of great designs out there for ball bearing flippers, but for whatever reason sometimes they don't do it for me. So this is one of the ones that does. CTS XHP steel, really awesome steel. I have not actually had to sharpen this yet. Just strop it up after use and it's always good to go. A lot of people don't like the Bill Cosby weave in the handle here, but I actually like it, so I haven't swapped it out. Just a gorgeous knife overall, and a really good knife to play with, to sit there and flick while you're watching TV. Really smooth action on this. You could flip it out any which way you want, and it flies out there. This knife is put together like all Spyderco Tai Chung models, and the tolerances on this and on this one here are exceptional. So that's number 4. You'll notice a trend here. Most of my knives are Spydercos, and that's for good reason. They just make great knives. This next one here is the Native 5. I actually got this from S&R Knives when I went to visit them, and once I held this and sort of played around with it, I knew I wanted to get it and actually pulled the trigger on it. Great little EDC knife, S35 VN steel, can't go wrong with that. One of my favorite steels alongside S30V. Just a really pocketable knife. Carry this a lot recently, and you don't really notice you're wearing it at all. Take it out, use it, and really no one's going to pay any mind because it is a smaller blade overall, but a very capable blade also. This knife is probably the best for tolerances that Golden Colorado has put out. You can see that just based on the back here. There's no gaps, and it almost looks like one piece, even though there's 2 liners and this lock bar. Just great fit and finish on this, and really can't say anything bad about it. Fits in hand really nice, especially for me and my hands, and just a great knife overall. Love the shape to the blade here, how it has this swedge up at top, and it, unlike a lot of Spydercos, it doesn't have a hump on the blade here. You could even see it on that one, but it just allows you to get your thumb way up there without it being sort of impeded by a hump, to get some really, like good power in behind this blade to do some serious cutting. So that's number 3. Just move these down here. Number 4 is a knife that I am absolutely pleased with. This was one that I was very excited to receive, very excited to use, and it has become my favorite outdoors knife. I'm talking about the Northeastern Blades Custom Skinner. Look at that sheath. Great sheath on this, and just take it out here. S35 VN steel, heat treated to 59.5 Rockwell. This thing is a tank. Not too thick, not too thin blade stock, so this knife is very capable. The blue G10 liners in there. Double black G10 handles, you can see the pattern in it. The shape of this handle is really nice. Fits my hand perfectly. Little bit of a lanyard loop here. Thumb ramp. Just a great knife overall. Use this knife a ton in the bush, and actually got a test video of this knife coming out very soon, so you're going to want to stick around to see how this knife performs. Just I'll already tell you, it's a really great performer. Super comfortable in hand. I can't stress that enough. The right balance between sort of contoured and squared off, so this knife is not going to turn in your hand when you're using it hard. And I've used this knife for literally everything. Bring it out in the bush with me every time I go, and actually EDC it from now and then. Awesome knife. I think I'll just put that right here. And lastly, but definitely not least, is my most recent knife, the Benchmade 940-2. This knife is very quickly becoming one of my favorite knives ever. Great EDC knife, and actually a great hard use knife. You guys should go check out, I think his name is, I'm going to draw a blank now. Wrangler Star. He owned a 940 and he beat the crap out of it, and it still held up over years of abuse. So that's where I could tell you this knife can be used hard and still come back for more. Green standoffs on the back. Flow through design is sort of the new thing for the 940s, as where the 940-1, I think it's called, the carbon fiber with S90V version. This one has G10 handles opposed to the standard aluminum. Just an awesome knife, and like I said, slowly really becoming one of my favorites. You can see scratches on the pocket clip. I do carry this quite often. It's either this or the Spyderco paramilitary that I bring to work every day, and while at work this thing sees a lot of use. Great blade shape, nice point to it, but a strong point, you can see that there. Just one of those knives that I'm super proud to own and waited so long to get and don't know why. Action on it's great. One of those knives you could just sit there and flick for hours on end without any sort of discomfort. Love the access lock on Benchmades. They're really one of the best locking mechanisms in my opinion for an all-round knife. You get a lot of blade for a small package in this knife. Very slim design knife too, so when you're carrying this, you barely notice it. 2.4 ounces, something along that. Just a great EDC and a great user knife. So that's my top 5 knives and top 5 acquisitions for 2016. There's a couple runners up here that I didn't include. I got my Victorinox Deluxe Tinker this year also, and it's one of those knives that I didn't include into this sort of 5 of 2016 just because it is sort of a multi-tool, not just a knife. But this is one of the things that I carry most often and really love to own. Super useful. I switched out the standard scales for these plus scales, which means it carries a pen. And just love that blue color. Another one that I didn't include in this video is my Victorinox Spirit X. The only reason I didn't include this into my 5 was that I didn't buy it this year. I bought this a long time ago and lost it in a move. If you guys seen that video, if you haven't, go check it out. But just found it this year, and really glad I did, because I carry this a lot. 6 days out of 7 this is clipped to my belt, and really a useful tool. Super strong, super durable. But since I actually didn't buy this year, I bought it about 5 years ago and lost it, I didn't include it in this video. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm going to tag a couple people to do videos of the same nature. I want to tag Everyday Knife Guy. Show us your top 5 this year. Would like to tag Weeder Fan also. Show us your top 5 acquisitions of this year. Doesn't have to be knives, it could be axes, could be sort of planes, anything you want to show that you think is your top 5 acquisitions of this year. And hope you like this video, guys, and stay tuned for more.